Physical intimacy that you can implement more of or start to do in this season of making over that relationship, okay? So I want you to get into it. Physical intimacy, let's create more of it. That's the first type of intimacy. Number 2, sexual intimacy. Now that's pretty obvious. You know, this is a ministry channel. I don't want to get crass or anything, but you know what you need to do. You know exactly what you need to do. If you're lacking, if you don't have a lot of it, if you have stopped, I need you to rethink what you have done and get to fellowshipping and connecting with one another in the sexual intimacy department. It is required of you. Understand? And whatever has prevented you from connecting sexually and fellowshipping with one another in the bedroom, that is an area that I need you to pay close attention to, focus on, and fix. You can't fix anything that you're not willing to face or focus on. And if you know what the issue is, then I need you to address it, because you definitely don't want to give the enemy any additional tools to use against you in your restoration season. If this is something that you have struggled with, if this is something that has led to the disconnect of the two of you in a previous season, remember, the enemy is smart. You have to understand the enemy is smart. Whatever he was successful in the last time, he's gonna try you again. Let me repeat that. Whatever the enemy was successful with the first time, if it worked before, he knows it will work again. That's a form of temptation. So let me tempt you in this way that was super successful before. All right? It was so successful, the two of you almost walked away from one another. So in order to prevent that, I need you to focus on that. All right? Amen? Okay, so that was number 2. That was the second type of intimacy that I want you to focus on, implement into this makeover season, okay? And I want to call it Intimacy 2.0 this time around. So physical, okay? That was number 1. Number 2, sexual. You know what it is. Don't make me go any further, okay? Amen. The third type of intimacy that I want you to be really careful and sensitive with is going to be emotional. Emotional intimacy. Oh, intimacy is so important to us girls, us women. We love emotional intimacy. And how do you create more emotional intimacy? It's very simple, according to the experts, by saying, okay, I love you. By confessing how you feel about one another. I love you. I appreciate you. I need you. I want you. Okay? Things like that. That fosters in emotional intimacy with your partner or your spouse. In addition to that, doing nice things for one another. And it doesn't always have to be a grand gesture. It's the small things that count. It's the small things on a day-to-day basis that eventually make such an impact that it draws you into this emotional connection with your spouse and creates a bond that is almost hard to break. So I want you to pay close attention to the emotional intimacy between the two of you this go around. And you know what? I just had a thought. For those of you who have not experienced any type of disconnect, this is definitely a way to, take it up a notch. I may not be saying anything that you don't already know. I just may be a refresher or a reminder for the things that you know to do, but you haven't done because perhaps you've been busy. Life has taken you on different paths. You're so preoccupied with things that you have going on in your lives, and you've just been too busy or too tired. But this could be the reminder that you need to stay connected in the number one, physical department of intimacy, the sexual department of intimacy. Number three, the emotional aspect is a component that we cannot neglect or ignore. Number four, okay, intellectual intimacy is really, really important as well. You know, having conversations with one another, picking one another's brain, and it doesn't have to be forced either. You know, just having basic conversation about day-to-day activities, things that you are passionate about, things that happen throughout the day within the family, within your circle of friends, with your children, politics, government, any and everything that the two of you can talk about can stimulate intellect. You know, having those conversations, being able to, know where your partner is coming from and where they stand on different issues. It doesn't hurt. It's actually a very smart thing to keep going, okay? So we've covered intellectual intimacy. It is important. Now, the experts, the people with the license, the people with the alphabets behind their names have said that this is important, okay? So I need you to focus on that as well. And so we have spiritual intimacy. Oh, yes.